Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Cops Court and Coffee. I'm Darnell Leeson. Now, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about safety and bear safety, to be exact. Now, how many of you have actually seen a bear while you're out there either camping, hunting, or just enjoying the sounds of nature? Well, on today's episode, we're going to be giving some information from one of the rangers from Glacier National Park who's going to be providing us with some information that just might save our lives. Stick around. Beautiful.
Anybody know the two types of bears we have?
Brown bear?
Brown bear or grizzly bear. And then we have black bears also. Do you know how to tell the difference?
Brown,
One's brown, one's black. Well, that's certainly the one thing that a lot of people look for. You'll find grizzly bears oftentimes have this nice brown coat, white grizzled tips on the top, when black bears might be nice and black. But it can be tricky, because you could have black grizzly bears and brown black bears and all sorts of colors in between, cinnamon, a light blonde, things of that. So you can't actually look towards the color to identify them. There's a couple physical traits that you want to look for instead. So if we take the grizzly, for instance, and you look at its claws, what do you see here? These big, long, shovel-like claws. And what do you think they might use a shovel for? Digging. Exactly. And yeah, as they dig, they'll dig a lot for plants. Up to 80% of their diet is vegetarian. So not only will they dig up after ground squirrels and things, but they'll also dig up plant roots to eat the roots underneath. They'll use them to get berries as well. And with a lot of digging, they get a very pronounced muscle in the back of their neck, on their shoulders, that they can use to dig even more. Whereas the black bear doesn't really have that big muscle, because if you look here, you notice that big hump on the grizzly bear's back. You won't quite notice that on the black bear, because as they're young, they are taught, rather than to dig, they're taught by their moms to climb up trees whenever they get scared. You can see the young bear here being taught to climb up a tree. So instead of getting a nice big muscle on their neck for digging, they get a big hump on their hindquarters, a nice big butt to climb up trees. So that's what you want to look for. Usually you're not close enough to see the claws, but you can certainly see the hump from a distance. And the other way to tell is by looking at their face. So it's hard to tell on this guy. His face is a little bit smushed. But grizzly bears and black bears have a different shape to their face. So if you look at a black bear, the line from the top of their head to their snout is a straight one. They don't really have much of a forehead. It's a straight line. Whereas grizzly bears, theirs dishes down by their eyes. It looks like someone took a scoop out. And so you can notice the difference there between the black bear with its straight line and the grizzly bear with its dished profile of the face. So those are the two things that are easiest to look at to tell the difference between the two. Oftentimes, grizzly bears tend to be a little bit larger than black bears, but sometimes you'll see them when they're young, and size isn't the best indication either. Are you guys hoping to see a black bear or a grizzly bear during your time in Glacier?
From a distance.
From a distance? That's good. From a distance. Do you happen to know what the safe distance is to give?
6 miles.
Binoculars. Binoculars, 6 miles. Those are great. At least you want to give them 100 yards if you see a bear. And 100 yards is about the distance from where we are now to the trees at the other side of the parking lot. And the flagpole's up here. That's about 25 yards away. That's the distance that you want to give our littler critters like deer or mountain goats, things like that. But if you see a black bear or a grizzly bear and it is closer than 100 yards, first and foremost, you want to just say, hold on, I don't mean you any harm. Back up a little bit, try to get out of its personal space, and it'll likely move on and not mind you at all. But should they become any more interested or aggressive than that, and you were making plenty of noise, they heard you coming, you're hiking together, and even still, they look interested in you, it's important to know how to respond. And the best response is this stuff. Does anybody know what this is?
Bear spray?
Bear spray, yeah. And bear spray is the best defense should any sort of our wildlife, especially our bears, get too aggressive or interested in you. But it's also important to know how to use this stuff should you choose to carry it in Glacier. And I certainly recommend that you do, because while some people are scared away by the $44.95 price tag, that's not a lot for a life insurance policy. But if you do get bear spray as you carry it here in Glacier National Park, it's important first and foremost that you carry it somewhere that it's accessible. You take it out of its plastic packaging. You don't have it buried at the bottom of your pack beneath sandwiches and rain jackets, but rather clipped to your belt, right on the side of your pack, or even on the little strap across your chest. And that way, if you have an encounter with one of these lovely fellas here, you have it ready. And once it's ready, you can have it handy very quickly and be able to remove the safety. So this is the safety, this orange clip here. Sometimes it's white on other brands of bear spray. And the first thing you want to make sure you do is you're pointing it the right direction. If you point it at your own face when you take the safety off, that's not going to do you any good. So you want to make sure you're aimed towards the thing that's coming towards you. If the bear's running at you, you're aiming at the bear, and you remove the safety by pulling back on that orange switch. And this little black lever that's left behind is the trigger. It will shoot. And this contains about 7 seconds of spray. It will shoot 30 feet, so you have some range there. So once you're aimed downwind, looking at that wildlife, and you've removed the safety, you want to make sure that you don't shoot it all at once. It's got 7 seconds of spray. You only want to shoot about 1 or 2 seconds at a time. That way, if you've got bad weather, bad wind, or just bad aim, you can try again. But when you aim down there, you want to also aim at their feet. So if they're running towards you, a lot of people say aim at the face, and that's exactly what you want to affect with the bear spray. But if it's running towards you and you aim at the face, it might run underneath that line of spray. So if you aim at their feet, rather they will run into that. It'll be far more effective. So if you aim at their feet, you have 7 seconds of spray. You only want to go in 1 or 2 second bursts. And if you want to move away here a little bit, sir, just so the wind doesn't carry it. This is an inert can, so it doesn't have all the active ingredient, but it still can be irritating, so we'll keep your distance. And you just point at the feet, and in a short back and forth motion, spray like so. And when that gets into that bear's eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, he is going to be completely short-circuited. He's going to be going crazy for about 10 minutes, which gives you plenty of time to get the heck out of Dodge. And when his head's finally clear again, he's not going to be seeking revenge. He's simply going to go and find a nice, quiet place to lay down. And you'll be way gone by then. So that is a very great way to keep yourself safe in Glacier. If, for whatever reason, you miss completely, it blows it all back in your face, or you simply misplaced it, there's also strategies to handle those encounters without bear spray. So with black bears here, they tend to be a little bit more timid. So if you see one of them coming towards you, looking aggressive or anything, it's likely that they haven't found enough food. They're pursuing you in a predatory sense. And in that case, you want to let them know, since they are a little more timid, that you are not an easy target. So you want to act big, yell, shout, grab sticks, swing sticks, and it's going to be discouraged. And if it does even begin to attack you, you can whap it on the nose, fight it off. It's going to lose interest in you and move on to something far more easy to eat, like berries or rabbit. But then, if you get to the grizzly bear, that's not what you want to do with these big guys. These big guys are pretty territorial, looking to establish that you are not a threat to them, their personal space, or the ones that they love. So rather than acting big and tough and trying to fight it off, you want to play small and protect everything that's important. If it does start to attack you, you're going to want to lay down on your stomach, covering your vital organs here. Protect what's on your neck by covering it with your hands or moving your pack up to protect your neck. And even spreading your legs slightly, so if it tries to roll you over, that's tougher. And if it does roll you over, keep rolling and come back to that position. And that way, he'll know that you're not a threat and he'll move on. But that's not very pleasant, is it? Which is important. The reason and reminder is to carry this stuff, so you don't have to ever use any of those strategies to deter that wildlife. But that is how you go about staying safe once you encounter them.